So moving on to posing. So if you didn't want to spend time putting a rig into a character, what you can do is you can pose it when you're modeling it. So this is a different package now. This is Silo 3D. I'll just show you a quick way to pose ready for a still or sending it for a render in another package. So one thing that I'll quickly do is switch on symmetry, so that applies to both sides. So I'm just going to use a keyboard command for that. Just test it so you can see that it's happening on both sides. And then I'm going to go to face selection mode, like so. And then one quick way to do select an area is just area selection, like so. And I can grow that selection right up to the elbow. And then I can switch on something called soft selection. Very similar in a lot of programs, like so. And it just gives an area effect that drifts off around these joints. And then with the keyboard command of M in here, I can just quickly change the pivot point, and then I've got an ability to rotate around here. You can see, because the symmetry's on, it's happening, it's reflecting on both sides. It's not ideal everywhere like here, because it's pushed that in slightly, so you can move the pivot point, but I only want to do a slight bit of movement here, and I can correct that underneath in a moment. So I just want to bring the arms down, and then if I reduce the area of effect like so, you can see that the selection's moved down, but it's still got that area of effect on. And then just move that pivot point again. Again, this is Silo, so it's keyboard M to give you the pivot point move. Just get it where I want it, M again, and then I've got the ability to move that like so, or I can do a free move. Oops, just lost the selection then. Select it again. Move it up again. And then just adjust how you need to do it for the pose that you want. Obviously this is symmetry's on for this one, so we'll probably take that off in a moment, like so. And then we'll turn the symmetry off, and then we'll just do a leg, do a bit of work on one of the legs. So I select a ring, select it up like so. There's lots of ways of doing this, and it's different in every package. It's just one of the ways I favour it. I don't even need to change the pivot point here, because I can just move the whole leg like so. Now I'll change the pivot point, and then I'll just angle this one back slightly and out slightly like so, so he's got a little bit of a stance. Just check that the geometry hasn't gone odd up at this end, and if it has, you can use a smooth or a tweak of whatever type you're using in the software of your choice. The one thing you can easily do here is lose the shape of your character. You can lose form and volume, as they call it, yeah, and that's pretty much what I've done there. Is I've just made that's it, pulled it back. I lost the volume of the area, and it just looked completely wrong. You can see around the back there it's done the same. So we'll pull that back to how we'd want it. And if you wanted to do the same with the upper body, for example, you could just select a ring around the upper body there. In fact, that one will be better. And then just increase that. Select right the way through the mesh, like so. And the area effect's on, so it's not just going to affect these polygons, so it's going to affect right down into the belly there. And I'm bringing that pivot point down like so. You can do this in a number of ways. You can do it with lattices in different programs. The eyes we won't touch at the moment, we'll move them independently. And then if you look there, you can bend him in certain ways. Well, you just want to bend him back so he's looking up to the sky, and just slightly to the side. And then we'll do the same with the head. can see I've selected down to the neck, select right the way through the mesh. Again, different in every package, so just learn, you learn the tools that you're working with. Just move that pivot point wherever you want it to. So obviously if you're moving the head, you're going to want to move the pivot point right down deep into the neck, like so. Bear in mind you're probably only doing this right at the end of your modelling, so it's not a huge process, just to get yourself a nice pose. Let's just turn his head slightly. And again, it totally depends on the type of job you're doing. Just move those eyes now. We could have attached them to the mesh, but there's lots of times where you'd want these as just separate models. Like so. Let's do it roughly. And then you can pretty much you can do the same sort of process with the fingers, just by selecting. Well, you could select the whole hand, or you could just do select one finger like so. It's not the fastest process, not the fastest way to do it, and there are better solutions to do it than this. But this, if you don't want to waste any real amount of time setting up a rig or putting bones in, and this is just one way that you can do it. And I like this one because it's I don't usually need to leave the package that I'm modelling in. You can do this in virtually every package. Just a little bit of definition in the fingers, and you can bend them further down if needed. Okay, so that's one way to pose it. We'll move on to another way, which is ZBrush next. So the next way to pose would be to use ZBrush. So if we use the same model, let's draw it out into the canvas. I've put, as you can see, that I've put the perspective floor on, and I'll make it more of a perspective, like so. And if you want to pose in ZBrush, you don't need to put bones in, you just keep it at the lowest level of mesh, so don't go dividing it here over in the tool panel, keep it at the lower level. You can turn symmetry on and off with activate symmetry, and then basically using an alpha you can then decide where to move the geometry and pose it. So if I'm on a Mac, so I'll use Command and then drag up the mesh. Oops, sorry. I just want to switch to rotate first, then Command and drag up the mesh. And you'll see it's giving you a nice alpha around the body, and it's working it out based on edge loops. And it gives you this tool here. If you click the circle at the end, like so, this here in the center is the pivot point, and that's the same for whether it's move or scale. So I can move this wherever I want, and because it's now alphaed out at the back here, I can pose it like so. Now if I move this and I have it at the top like there, and I move that in, you see how it crushes in the chest, which is not what we want. So if I move that down like so, position that, and maybe just position it slightly differently a few times, that gives us a better option really. And if I go to the side and move it around, you can see I can angle it around. Hold Command again, drag the alpha down further, move the tool down, and you've got more flexibility there. You can lengthen it as well to make it easier. Just drag it down a little bit further, and we'll angle this arm forward like so, and then onto the hand, drag the tool down like so. Very easy to pose. We'll just make this other arm wave. Again, Command, move it along, drag the arm down, Command, drag, position that pointer correctly, and then go to the side and even rotate it. masking wave. There we go. Same for the legs. Command drag from the body back down. Position the tool where you want it to get a good deformation. Again the same. Again the same. And you're just basically positioning your body how you positioning the pivot point each time you want to move it. You can see that's twisted, so move that around. And then maybe just turn this leg out sideways, like so. You can actually come out this way if needed. Gives you more control. You can basically move your controls however you need them. Use that center one to turn. You can see how we're turning the leg outwards. There we go. And you can quickly pose your characters that way. And that saves you having to do any of the joints or rigging or weighting that you would normally do in any of the other 3D packages. If you just clear off the masking like so, there you go, and you can export that back out to your package for rendering. It's retained your UVs if you've already got them, but a very quick way of doing it.